Hi everybody, this is Dick Benedict. Thanks for rejoining me on my campaign through God Mode difficulty on Ghost of Sparta. Somebody asked me recently why I do so many videos for God of War. A few reasons for that. This game kicks ass would be the number one response to that question. And secondly, I do guides in general just to publish my success, and also just to help people out beat the game, because I really like this game. And there was a time when I couldn't even do this shit, and now that I could do it, it's nice to be able to show people how to do it, because it's not that hard if you practice a lot and get good at the game. And these games, they all deserve guides, and they need guides too for the hardest difficulty. So that's where I come in. So now we have some, we're going to have some different enemies. These guys are hoplites, but they have shields on their bodies. So you want to hold the R1 button and then hold the square button to do that little flare that will, you'll see it on their shields, and then it will ignite, and then it'll break their shields. And then if you do the flare on the guys without the shields, they will fall down, and you'll have a moment to get some free hits on them. When I say the flare move, I mean you hold the R1 button and then you hold the square button until he does that little that quick little jab at the enemies right there that I just did. And you see it's going to detonate on that guy's shield, and if the shield enemy is close to other shield enemies, it'll do explosive damage on the other guys. So sometimes you don't have to do that flare move on every one of the guys. So I got a parry right there, and if you want to, you could combine the fire magic with the parry, so it adds more diversity to the gameplay. So not only can you parry, but if you're holding the R1 button while you parry, you can do a fire parry, which is really cool. This game has really good combat. So over here, they force you to interact with this gate right here until you see you have to interact with it, and then once you are told that you need a key, then this barrier will fall down over to the left. So this is going to be a pretty extensive video. I think it's still under 10 minutes, but we're going to be fighting some pretty big battles, one of which is an armored Cyclops. So really good special effects right here. And so hop on down and get some health and magic, whatever you decide to get from that. And we have some harpies over here, and these guys, sometimes I will charge at them by pressing the L1 and O button like I did right there. And when you do that move, he will like twirl them around, and you could deal some area damage to these harpies like I did right there, which is pretty good. These guys can really start pecking at you quick. So you don't want them to do that, but you know they can be easily grabbed and dealt with. Those guys weren't the ones that do the kamikaze bird dive. Jump on up here, and we're going to do a little bit of beam walking. Like I said in the last video, I don't like beam walking, but so we're in the Heraklion section now, and we're going to hit the save point, and then over to the left is going to be a hidden chest. I love this game. I love the game's linearity. These ports came out last September, as a matter of fact. They were PSP titles, and at the last E3, well, two E3s ago, that it was announced that this game was going to be coming out. That had both of these titles remastered in HD, and they look really good. They don't run at they run at 30 frames a second, so they're not all that fast, but they look really good. The graphics are really good. So up ahead, I believe this is where we're going to fight an armored Cyclops. Yep, here he is right over here. And this game doesn't have as many problems with spatial issues as Chains of Olympus does, but that doesn't mean it doesn't still have those problems occasionally. And this is a prime example of not enough space to deal with a huge ass enemy like this guy. I mean, sometimes you'll be trying to roll away, and like the pots will be getting in your way, the pots you haven't smashed. And I invite anybody to disagree with me here. I mean, is this enough space to fight one of these huge armored Cyclopses, or any type of Cyclops? There's not enough space. So here I'm upgrading the Thera's Bane up to level 2. Now you could pick and choose. If you don't want to upgrade the Thera's Bane to level 2 and you want to save up to upgrade your blades, just, you know, you can go that route. Just do whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable doing. But back to what I was saying before, it's not enough room to deal with this guy here. This would be a lot funner if there was more fucking wiggle room. There's just no room to move around in, and I know the problem is that this game is based off a game that was originally designed for a smaller screen, but you know, there's no way around that problem. You know, it's a port of an older game onto, you know, the PS3. But still, the problem is a problem no matter how no matter what the game is based off of. So there are going to be times when we're just dealing with too big of enemies in too small of a space. And I don't think that you can bypass that enemy. I mean, skip him. So we got a ton of orbs for just opening a fucking door. It's crazy the amount of orbs you get just for opening doors over here. So when you're going up this spiraling staircase, remember you need to jump like right over here where I do, and don't worry if you fall. There's no way to know about that if you're playing this for the first time. Yeah, that spatial issue is a pretty. It was a huge problem in Chains of Olympus. It's a little bit less of an issue in this game, but remember to hop on down here, take care of these archers, and when you're pressing R1 and holding the square button and igniting the enemies with that flare move, these are the type of enemies that can be consumed in flames. Since they're such weaklings, they can be. You'll see that I do it up here, right over here. You see, he's just there when he explodes. They don't really explode; they just get consumed by flames. So that's a really good technique for dealing with weaker enemies, and I can't tell you how awesome this game is. How many, like the layer of combat, just adding that flame attack, it makes the combat like multiplied by like 10, as far as like what you can do with stuff, and just overall, just the combat, it's cool. For lack of a better word, it's cool. So head on down here and smash all the pots. And we're going to get some health and magic over here. I wasn't in great need of the health and magic, but I just got it anyway. You do get some health regeneration if you keep dying on parts. So we get a little transitional cutscene over here. And we're going to be going a little bit further into Heraklion. So kill all of these bodies that are carbonized, I guess you'd call it. And then, okay, so we have a little bit of a different situation. And by the way, I kicked ass in this room. I hate to toot my own horn. It always sounds like I'm bragging, but I did really well over here. So here we have, I parried that guy's ram right there, that ram move that Minotaur did. Unless it was one of the hoplites that hit me and I parried. I couldn't quite tell, it was so quick. So this is a pretty unique situation where we have a humongous enemy, that Minotaur, plus we have a couple of hoplites thrown into the equation. So I would, if you're struggling on a section like this, isolate the hoplites by going into another area somewhere that's not around the Minotaur and just grabbing the hoplites, and then if the Minotaur rams you, just don't think of it as yourself getting damaged, because you can get out of the quick time event by simply winning it, and you don't take damage, which is really well. So hit the save point right there.